Hello, everybody. If you haven't already, go ahead and introduce yourselves in chat. Let us know both who you are and what country you're from. It's really exciting to see how many people we have from joining around the world. So my name is Nick Halper. I'm the CEO of Neuromatch. With me, I have several volunteers and staff members and other people who are going to be joining me up on stage. They'll introduce themselves kind of when the time is right. I think it makes sense to go through a few slides and then we'll get introductions there. So while you're taking part in this session, remember this is the opening ceremonies, the beginning of a 3-week adventure, or 2-week for some of you that you're going to be on. And this is a really great time to both get to know lots of students around the world and kind of see how this whole thing runs. So take the chance to be active in chat, take part in the polls that we're going to have during this event, and just know that it's on the, like it says that this event's an hour and a half long, but it's probably going to be a lot shorter because we're here just to have fun. So I wanted to give a little presentation on what this whole thing is about, and both to kind of tell you how we built this thing and to show you how to make the most of it for yourself. And so we're going to be running this opening ceremony, and I have a few slides that we can go through together to talk about it. So first off, in chat, we have tons of people. This includes everybody from the Neuromatch and ClimateMatch student and TA bodies. So we have teaching assistants in chat, we have students, we have volunteers. So there's lots of people that you can meet, though probably not the best place to have intimate discussions given how many people are here. Why are these slides? There we go. So first, just a little overview of this program, since lots of you are joining it from different sources or different backgrounds. What this whole experience is about is world-class neuroscience, deep learning, and climate science. Now, these are the 3 courses that we offer, but I think the more accurate thing to say what this program is really about is about like community and inclusion and like learning. It's not just the content that's so critical and so important. It's the chance to meet all of the people in your pods, the people in your projects, the people you're meeting in the chat right now. And so focusing on making the maximum sort of impact in these fields by working with lots of different people is a way to really kind of like bring success in these programs and in these areas. So I encourage you to focus on these elements as you're going through the course yourself and look for places that you can be more inclusive and work with people from around the world in a way that really supports global science and engineering and supports those sort of interdisciplinary or interregional or inter-community connections. And when you're going through these courses, again, consider the real learning that we're looking to focus on. It's not just about rote memorization or getting through the material. The reason you're taking this live course is because it's a chance to really stretch how you think about the work that you're working on, to work with new people and learn new ideas and practice things in new ways. But it's to so really take the chance to kind of go beyond that material and focus on the sort of human connection and the like deeper learning aspect of it. And I don't mean here just the deep learning of the courses that we're talking about. So at the very core of our mission and the mission of everything behind what we're doing is diversity, equity, and inclusion. We want to make our content maximally accessible. And this is to support participation from all sorts of people from all sorts of backgrounds. Our goal is to make it easier for everybody to participate in science and scientific research, whether that be as somebody who's in academia or somebody who does research in industry, to somebody who's doing independent research or independent science or work in these different areas. And this is especially important for some of the problems that we're working on that are connected to big challenges like climate, or really important topical concerns like deep learning, or critical kind of like frontiers in science like neuroscience. So when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, we really try to mean it in all forms. This can be somebody's cultural or socioeconomic or regional or whatever else that you have at background. It can come down to what their background might be. Like, think about inclusion in terms of people in your classroom are going to come from different educational backgrounds and have different abilities and different specialties. Try to look for ways to like highlight those and learn from them instead of rejecting somebody because they're not at the same math level as you, or maybe they're coming into the climate science program because they're interested in entering climate science, even though they're not a climate scientist yet. Look for ways to include these people and include their diverse perspectives. It's going to make both your science better and your experience in this class better. Like I had mentioned earlier, Neuromatch primarily is about connection, community, and sharing. So these materials are great. I think they're the best in the world, and you're going to learn some really amazing things. But one of the ways that you learn those amazing things so well is by taking part in discussion, taking part in events, taking part in the sort of social aspects of the class. So please do take the chance to participate in community events. For all of you in our different courses, you'll have community events that come up, whether these be professional development events or panels or office hours with distinguished scientists, professors, or industry members, or maybe they're just one-on-one times that you have with your mentor in some way or another. And I'd really encourage you to fully and actively participate in these things. First off, it's fun. It's a thing that comes with the course, so you should take advantage of it. But it's also better for everybody else when people participate. You can even look at the chat and that you're in right now. It's a lot more fun when everybody shares where they're from and talks about what they're doing and shares their perspective. It helps us learn. It's another opportunity to facilitate different types of group discussion. So please do participate in these community events. Similarly, when you're actually in your classroom or your pod, as we call them, please ask questions. Don't be scared to speak up. If you have a question, then most likely somebody else has that same question. Or if you have an idea that you want to share, it's likely that idea is valuable to a lot of other people in the group. And so please do share your ideas, share questions, but also give room and space for other people to talk. If there's somebody who doesn't seem like they're getting a chance to participate, try to make some space for them. It's going to benefit you and them if you can both share your ideas. And then finally, we'd love to hear from you on Discord, Twitter, Mastodon, whatever other sort of service, platform, or place that you like to connect. This is a great place to meet other people from this community. And so connecting on those platforms or sharing with people or tagging people there is a great way to sort of continue that community beyond just the classroom that you're going to be in today. So this doesn't have to happen just on social media and things like that. When you finish with this course, you'll be part of a Discord community group that will give you sort of access to participate with all of the other people, not just in your class, but in the entire cohort as alumni to this program. So it's a really cool network of a lot of people from around the world who are focusing on the same type of science and goals that you are. And probably most importantly, the same people that have the same type of attitude on community and inclusion that you share yourselves. So with that, I want to take a chance to introduce who we are. I think Neuromatch and this whole effort is primarily powered by the people behind it. And it's the people that make this all happen. And so I wanted to give some space in this presentation for both to kind of give you an overview of the teams that helped build this year, as well as the teams in the past who've made this possible. And so like I mentioned, I have a few people up on the screen with me. I'll give them a chance to introduce themselves here and what their roles are, and talk a little bit about the program or thing that they helped build. Before we jump into that, I just want to kind of go over all the different groups of people that are involved. To make this whole effort happen, we have literally hundreds of people from around the world who come together to build these courses, to build all the technical infrastructure and back end and the community support. And they do things like review students and review teaching assistants and make sure that you really have the best experience possible taking part in this. So this includes not just the people who build all of that, like our instructors and our students and the volunteers and teaching assistants, but it includes other people as well that you'll see, such as mentors that join during the professional development or project sections, the sort of like leadership groups like our board members and executive committees, as well as, of course, our sponsors who help fund a lot of this, building this. But like I've mentioned over and over, and I'll say it again because I think it is very important, this whole effort is possible because of you. Taking part in your pods and taking part in the group discussion of your classrooms and having fun with it is what's going to make this experience a good one. And so none of this could happen if it weren't for you, students and teaching assistants, really taking it on and participating fully. So let's go over some of the different groups that we have involved. Neuromatch has just a few staff members. Its first one is, I guess, myself. Courtney and Constantine are in US time zone, so I think they're sleeping right now. I probably should be sleeping, but I was too excited and wanted to join this one. We have Viviana, who's in chat. You can go ahead and say hi, Viviana. And if you see her, say hello to her. We also have Serbi, who couldn't make it today. On the Neuromatch side, so if you're taking a Neuromatch computational neuroscience or deep learning course, this is the executive committee we have for this year. So we have a few of these people who are up on screen with me. I'll mention Barak first, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm Burak, and I'm the lead of instructions in NMA this year. And when I started with NMA was at 2020, which is the first year of NMA computational neuroscience course. So I was actually attended as a TA that year. And yeah, I made so many great friends there. And still, like, we are working together as volunteers in Neuromatch. So I'm really, really happy that I attended Neuromatch courses. So I really wish all of you the best course ever. And briefly about me, I'm from Turkey originally. And I did my master's and PhD in Germany, and I'm continuing my postdoc in Germany now. And basically, I work in neuroscience in visual processing, and I also employ some computational models. So that's why I'm really interested in building Neuromatch or organizing Neuromatch. And what we do in our department, the instructions department, is we deal with all kinds of TA-related things. So from TA applications to selections to TA training. This year we have a new asynchronous part of TA training where each TA can just go online and do their trainings before the course. And then we also support the TAs during the course in Discord or with email and on all platforms possible. But yeah, for NMA, I'm volunteering since the second year. So the first year I was a TA because I love how it always turns out. There are so many people from everywhere in the world. And I have now friends from NMA from all around the world. So if I visit probably any country in the world, I would have a place to stay and have local tour guides. So it's amazing to meet people there, but also professionally, of course. You can make collaborations in NMA and yeah, exactly. So expand your network. So it's just great. I'm very happy for you that you're going to experience this year.
Thanks, Brock. So other people on the executive team include Marius and Scott, who are project co-leads. They help make sure all the interactive projects and including the kind of like mentorship component of them for Neuromatch, they're responsible for. Our registrar department is responsible for getting everybody onboarded. So this includes working with instruction and working with student experience, to help do reviews of applications and making sure the application experience goes well. Our curriculum group, we updated a lot of the course material this year, especially in the deep learning section. And so this group has been responsible for that. Kevin is actually here. He just can't show himself. I think he's logged in as me or something. Basically, he's helping on the back end. So he's running, helping to run this Crowdcast event, asking questions and answering questions in the chat. Our operations group is responsible for the whole matching process. So this is the process where we group you into student classrooms with your right data set and with your right instructor and the right time zone, and with people who have similar research interests and are at similar skill level to you. And so this is really a huge part of the classroom formation, in addition to sort of like running the operations and making documentation and other things that we do inside of Neuromatch run smoothly. Production works with curriculum to help make sure that we actually get videos produced and that we do the right types of translations and that the code is all working. And so they help push a lot of our technical changes and stuff like that to GitHub and make sure that the actual materials that you use end up working smoothly. Alberto, we actually have on screen with us, and he's run communications for us this year and in previous years. Alberto, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me well? Okay, cool. I had some communications problem with Crowdcast this morning connecting, so I'm from my mobile. I hope the connection is good. I'm so excited to be here to see all the messages in the chat and the excitement for the course that is about to start. Well, as Nick said, I am leading the communications department. So I did this also last year, and yeah, it's always fun to have to interact with you all. So we, as the communications department, we are managing the website for the academy, the social media. So we are on Twitter, where we have the biggest audience, let's say, with Neuromatch. Then we are also on Facebook, on Instagram, on Mastodon, on LinkedIn. So we are really mostly everywhere because we want to reach you in where you are looking for news, especially for work as this course. So probably you have seen some of the posts advertising the NMA 2023 courses. So I hope that you found that nice. So we have many volunteers that have amazing skills, graphic skills. They're creating exceptional visual artifacts to be included in our communications. And we also have a strong focus and we put much effort on outreach, on inclusion. So we try to diversify as much as possible and to reach also people, students from countries which are currently underrepresented in our fields. So that's also the mission of our department. And for that, I would like to thank publicly Deborah, who spearheaded the efforts for the outreach, especially in the first phases of the advertisement of the courses. So yeah, that's what we did. I like to think that if you are here a tiny bit is due to the work of our department. So yeah, enjoy the course. It will be a very challenging adventure, but it will be worth it. So good luck, everybody.
Thanks, Alberto. And the last role that we're listing here is Ella as executive director. She helps work with this whole team to kind of help people communicate the sort of vision of the course and the academy for Neuromatch, and helps make a lot of sort of big decisions on those fronts. Finally, I should say next, we have our ClimateMatch team, a little bit bigger. We have a lot of people involved. ClimateMatch is a new program this year, and so they had a lot to build. Zana and Navisha can talk a little bit about that. I guess we kind of introducing these in order as well. We have sort of matching departments here. So Mariana behind Student Affairs and Instruction took on a double role, which is a lot to manage both the student experience and making sure trainers and instructors and stuff get trained. We work a lot across programs here. So Mariana got to work closely with Barak as well as Kevin and others, working on the kind of ClimateMatch experience. Zana, your role here is listed as projects, but I think you've done lots of things inside ClimateMatch. Maybe you can introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your work.
Sorry, my internet just froze. I didn't hear the past few things that you said. I assume that it's my turn to speak.
It is your turn.
Thank you. Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Zana Mitrovica. I'm originally from Latvia, but I'm currently a final year PhD student at University College London. As Nick said in ClimateMatch, I'm primarily co-leading the projects department together with Natalie, and also co-leading the mentoring initiative as part of the professional development program, and then contributing here and there where I can. Like Burak, my first introduction to Neuromatch and the Neuromatch community was as a TA in the computational neuroscience course in 2020. But then I joined last year as a volunteer in ClimateMatch, in part because of my very positive experience in Neuromatch 2020 as a TA, but also because I felt really connected to the mission of ClimateMatch, which is to equip a really diverse and global community of people with the right computational tools to tackle really pressing issues in climate science and climate in general. And yeah, I'm super excited about the course, and it's really nice to see so many people in the chat and being active. And yeah, good luck, everyone. Hope you enjoy the course.
Thanks, Anna. Other roles that we have here in Climate include the professional development team. So the professional development group is responsible for bringing in panels and speakers and other content you'll see during the ClimateMatch course that basically shows different career paths and career options and mentorship on careers, both within climate and kind of as researchers in general. We have Abigail serving as the executive director at Climate. She was sort of one of the founders and initiators of this effort, and she's put in a ton of work and energy to help bring it all together, working herself in lots of different departments in various roles. Wesley, who's not here with us today, worked on tech. So this is more equivalent to the production department at Neuromatch. The role was focused on making sure that code and other sort of technical artifacts were going to work well, which included prepping the Jupyter Hub environment, which you'll see when you get involved in the ClimateMatch course. Avisha, you've been responsible for communications and outreach, but I think you've, like Zana, have also served in lots of other roles. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, this is Avisha. I'm from India, and in ClimateMatch, I've been handling communications and outreach. And yeah, I was also a part of Neuromatch since 2020. I was a student, and then in 2021 became a TA, and then recently became a volunteer and so on. So I had a great experience in my first year in Neuromatch and wanted to become the part of the community, and wanted lots of people to know about it. So that was a special motivation to join communications. And I had a great experience collaborating with everyone. And those mentors which I had in Neuromatch in the computational neuroscience course helped me even after the course ended. So those were some long-lasting collaborations and friendships. So I hope you also have a blast during the course. Feel free to ask as many questions, mail people, contact people, and yeah, just have fun. Happy learning.
Thank you, Avisha. Finally, we have a big sort of curriculum group at ClimateMatch. Like I mentioned, they're building their course for the first time this year, and so that takes a lot of effort. We're showing 4 people on the screen here. but really there were dozens, almost 100 involved, I think, in curriculum, kind of like creation and testing and smoothing that all happened. So this included some leadership by Sloan, as well as another person named Augustina, who's not on the screen, in the early stages. And then Jenna, Ohad, and she, over the last month and a half, have worked especially hard to kind of put in a ton of hours to sort of bring the curriculum to its final stages. So a lot of work at ClimateMatch to make it all possible. But like I had mentioned, this is just the leadership team. There are literally almost 400 people that helped make this whole experience possible this year. They all took part in important and critical ways, whether that be producing the art for the course, or testing a piece of code, or contributing a piece of the curriculum, or helping to write that one Instagram post that you saw that got you here. They were all involved in making this happen. And so there are tons and tons of people involved in this whole experience. If you want to learn more about them, and I encourage you to, please go look at our website, neuromatch.io/people, and you can see everybody who volunteers and is involved in making this whole thing work. Like I had mentioned, we're supported by lots of really cool groups. We make sure to be quite selective about the people that we work with and that help financially support our courses. Soon on our website, you'll be able to see more why we partner with each of these people and what sort of relationship we have with them and how they influence both the content that we make, as well as the kind of like people that we bring in, whether they be mentors and speakers or professional development groups or instructors. Some of these people show up from our collaborators and supporters. So I think one thing I'll kind of give before we move into the final stages of our program is just an overview of what building this looked like. So we got a taste of what each of the departments are that make this whole thing possible. But looking at how curriculum is actually built, I think shows off how much care and attention and time is taken to making sure that these materials are what we think are the best in the world. So our courses are built upon this idea of collaboration. When you look at a professor that teaches in a university, they're oftentimes forced to teach a course that has both their area of expertise as well as all these other areas that maybe they're not experts in, but they have to be kind of comfortable teaching because they have to give you that sort of breadth of experience or breadth of like training that they're looking to. And what we saw as an opportunity is to get all the specialists in those different kind of pieces of that curriculum and bring them in. So you get the most specialized and kind of like best teachers for all these little different slivers and pieces of content within your course or your specialty. And so we bring these people together, often dozens or more people at a time, to help create courses. And you'll see these as you go through the course, lots of little mini videos and lesson snippets. They're contributed to by these content creators. What happens after these content creators make their first draft or basically pieces of content is reviewers go through and check all that content. They check it for readability and how easy it is to learn from and consistency between different days of the course. And they also do things like check for copyright to make sure that our materials can always be shared with a CC BY license, which is basically a very open and permissible license. You can use these materials in your own classes, in your own training. You can refer back to them at any time. We also have our content creators who come back then and integrate all this feedback, which includes moving stuff to our production team. So these editors can actually edit things and produce basically a draft version of the course. When the draft version of the course is ready, we go through what we call pre-pod. So basically there's a whole secret group of students that happens before this course that all take the course early. And they go through it basically evaluating it as if they're a student. And they test all the content. They make sure all the tutorials work. They look at again, how readable and how consistent basically the ideas are from day to day. And they give feedback for improvement. And so again, we integrate that feedback, go through another editing cycle, and then we go through this sort of finishing touches where we check code, we insert any captioning and perfect captioning and insert any translation that we end up doing. And then we run the course like we're doing now. So it's a lot. But there's also a lot of room for a lot of fun during the course. You'll see in both Neuromatch and ClimateMatch, there's different types of events. So don't get too caught up in the specifics here. It's better to check in on Discord to see what the status of these different contests are or these different events and when they're going to happen. But generally, we have things like art contests. So it's a time for you to submit either like hand-drawn or written art. Usually there's like a music contest of some kind. This year at Neuromatch, we're hosting something called a bot contest. So you can write commands for the Neuromatch Academy bot. And this happens during the whole course. We're also going to have some special sort of like weekend events. So these are pure kind of more social events, times for you to get to know other students outside of your pod and in the other places in the course. So we're having a chess tournament as well as a film festival where you can set up a movie binge with your fellow students starting in the second week. So there's going to be various Q&As, games, and live events throughout the course. Some of these just pop up. Somebody has an interesting idea. We host an event and it just happens. So not everything is perfectly predictable. So keep an eye on these fun events as you go through the course. You're going to be very tired after a long day of projects and learning, but coming to these things just adds to the social experience. And the same goes, so these are the contest categories. Like I said, there's a lot of these here. It's probably hard for you to memorize all of them. Just know that there's going to be lots of different areas that you can compete in, lots of different forms of art, whether that be like comedies or music or AI art or memes. There's a lot of fun things that you can do. At ClimateMatch, the similar event is called the Earth Expo, which is a great name. Thank you, Zana and Avisha, for running that poll. In here, we have the same sorts of things, right? So we have music contests, memes contests. This includes t-shirt design and photography. I don't know if anybody on the panel currently wants to speak up about this specific event. It's okay if not.
Just a few words. I think, one idea behind changing the name to Earth Expo was to make it more collaborative and to highlight the aspect of working together rather than against each other. So even though it's still a competition, especially because in climate, to tackle things in climate, that's super important. And one different aspect from the Neuromatch's art contest is the chapter images competition, which will be a chance for artsy people from among students and TAs to design images that will represent the core components of each tutorial day, and then will be featured in next year's course material. So I'm very excited about this component as well.
That is very exciting. These are probably the most seen pieces of art because every student who's going through the course will click through them as they get introduced to the new chapter. These pieces of art are really fun, and I think they've kind of formed the flavor of our course books at Neuromatch. So excited to see those at ClimateMatch. So the last thing I'll say, which is an idea I've emphasized throughout this whole presentation, is that there's lots of other ways to sort of get involved. If you want to continue engaging after this course, look for opportunities in joining us at our own conferences or meeting up with people from your kind of Neuromatch pod or groups at other conferences. You'll see each other around in the community and around the world. And so this is a great time for you to sort of like have friends and have community at other places that you'll show up. Come with us and see our career events. We do things like matching people to jobs or to opportunities in a sort of like career, academic, and industry space. There's opportunities to volunteer here, which is, I think, very fun. And then, of course, we do all sorts of events around matching and collaboration. So you've already been matched into your pods, which is a great way to meet people inside this course. But if you're looking to meet more people in the future, like I said, we do a lot for community and mind matching, where we match people for similar interests so that you can find new science friends and new people you can work on projects with. So lots of ways to get involved after the course, but for now, you're going to be quite busy with an intensive 2 or 3 weeks of lessons. So I'm going to leave some room to answer questions that pop up in chat. But otherwise, this about concludes our event. So if you haven't joined the Discord yet, make sure to check your email for a Discord link. This is where you're going to be joining the community space. Discord is going to be a place you can chat and talk with your pod, but it's also going to be the place that all these fun things happen. So you're going to see threads and channels and other things for community events and social events and Earth Expo / art contests. And so, yeah, a lot of different things you can do inside of Discord. It's also the place that you'll end up getting a lot of your support. So if you have questions on sort of technical questions or questions about your TA or finding out where you're supposed to be, that's another place you can ask it. So thank you all for joining us today to kick off Neuromatch and ClimateMatch. And I'll hang out here for a little bit to help answer any questions that show up in the Ask Questions area. But I'm not seeing anything coming through yet. I like seeing the results of these polls. We have lots of people excited for the film festival. That's a new one this year. So I'm excited to see that one as well. I'm not sure if everybody can see the results of these polls, but just so you know, dog, we asked a question at the very beginning, cats or dogs? Dogs won by just a little bit. Important thing for your course to remember.
There's a question in the chat how to join the art contest. At least for ClimateMatch, and I think it's similar for Neuromatch. It will happen on Discord. Maybe people from Neuromatch Academy can also confirm that.
Yes. So it will be in Discord. Pretty much everything takes part or launches from Discord somehow. There will be events that happen in Crowdcast here, in this space again. But usually those will also be announced in Discord, or you'll receive an email about them. So keep checking your email throughout the course, but also keep an eye on Discord. There's all sorts of channels, general announcement channels and art contest channels. Discord can be a little bit overwhelming to join, so give yourself a little bit of time to navigate it. So I know that everybody can see the answers in chat, but I'll just go over some of them. Yes, there are certificates at the end of this course. Somebody asked if there's another orientation today. Yes, you do not have to come to both. Please, feel free to come to both, but you'll really only need to come to one. It'll be another orientation just like this. We just have multiple to serve people around the globe because, again, we're active in every time zone. Somebody asked about whether we could do a genetic engineering course. This is my vote for our next course, but I think this is for the community to decide.
Someone asked about if they wanted to volunteer, where would they start? Can we address this?
Yeah, so the easiest place to get connected to volunteering opportunities is on our main webpage. You can usually access it from any of the Academy web pages, so academy.climatematch.io, neuromatch.io, or academy.neuromatch.io. All have a volunteer link on them. But effectively, you'll fill out a small survey to indicate what sort of interests you have, what sort of areas you might want to be involved in. And from there, you go through an orientation. then end up joining us in our Slack, which is where we work together to work on the whole experience. I think volunteering at Neuromatch is really cool because there's a ton of, I guess I would say, like, I don't know the right word for it. There's a lot of like freedom and like fluidity. You can work on things in the way that you want to work on them. And you have a lot of like creative control over how exactly you do things. And there's a lot of opportunity for really cool leadership positions to do things that you may not normally get to do, or to do things in a new way that you haven't done before. There's a lot of room for experimentation. And obviously you get to work with some very cool people and meet some good friends, and get to build something that a lot of people use.
Someone has said, I guess I didn't receive this year Discord for ClimateMatch. I don't think students have been invited just yet. So since our course starts a week later than Neuromatch Academy, I think it will be this week. So starting tomorrow, that perhaps those emails will go out. So it's okay if you, as a student, haven't received that invitation yet, but TAs should have received it.
Thanks for that, Anna. Let's see. Somebody was asking about opportunities to meet with other pods. So there's several opportunities you'll have to meet with other pods. You actually have, you're part of what's called a megapod. And so TAs are more part of the megapod structure. But through that, you can kind of get to know other pods. You'll have a chance to participate in community events where you get to talk to other people. But you can also come to our different like mind matching events that Neuromatch holds. And this is a great way to meet other people because we match you all on research interests.
There was one question about how can I become a TA for the next year. I think it's good to comment on that. So TAs are, unlike most people think, they are not experts in all the topics of Neuromatch or ClimateMatch. They're rather learning facilitators. So of course they have good knowledge about the content of the course in order to guide the students. But the main point of being a TA is that you will be able to guide 10 to 15 students for their optimal learning in the course. So actually, if you're interested in kind of discussions and making sure everyone is learning, and so kind of being aware of the diversity, you can be a TA. So as a student, maybe observe your TA, help your fellow students, and then somehow maybe ask all the questions you have. And then I think with this mindset, you can prepare to be a great TA already as a student. Then you have to apply as a TA also. Yeah.
So there's several people asking kind of like how to look at course materials if they have to miss a few hours or something. The materials are all available online. You could go look at them right now ahead of time, for example. And so as you get involved in the course, you'll see the link to those, and it'll be quite easy to continue accessing those materials. Again, they're freely available.
There's a question, does anyone know the difference between Projects Day and Projects Time on the calendar? I can only speak for ClimateMatch, so if you're a Neuromatch student, then close your ears. But because I'm not sure if it's the same or not, but in ClimateMatch, the Projects Time, so those are 3 hours every day where you get to work on projects, and we also have professional development activities embedded within that time. Projects Day in ClimateMatch is very similar in that you pretty much work on your group project every day for the whole day. And so during the tutorial time, where you would on other days normally spend time going through tutorial material, on the project day, you'll just work on the project. You'll still have an introductory keynote though. So, and at the end of the project day, there's also a career panel, but that's ClimateMatch specific.
I see a question that didn't show up in the question area, but it's in chat. What do I do after this program, especially with graduate opportunities? That's a big question, but I'm going to try to answer it. There's a lot of things that you can do. So one of the reasons that we focus so much on the social element of this course is that your sort of social network oftentimes is reflective of the opportunities you're presented or have available to you. And so a lot of times through either the mentors that you meet or through other students that you meet in your classroom are ways that you can get sort of exposed to potential graduate opportunities or industry and career opportunities or just research collaborations in general. And so one way you can sort of like immediately leverage this course is kind of continuing to stay in touch with the people that you meet. Find ways to continue engaging with them, look at what they're doing, learn from them, and use this to find opportunities. There's also sort of ways to continue the course itself. Some of you will be working on, most of you will be working on some sort of like project. These projects can be very legitimate. You're working with big open data sets. You're being guided through how to ask and answer really interesting questions within those data sets. And so you can continue actually your work on those data sets into whatever sort of new insights or new research you generate through that. You can kind of take your project that you work here and you can end up bringing that into conferences or papers. We've had people present posters based on their Neuromatch research projects. And so there's ways to sort of continue both the like research component of the course. Other things that you can sort of do after this course or ways to continue afterwards include taking part in any sort of career matching events that we have. So we have job boards that you can post in or find jobs in. This is one kind of simple way to look for next steps. But we also do things like actual events that are meant to facilitate either like advisor matching or exposing you to or like meeting with people from industries that you can take a look and explore industry opportunities in your area. And so there's a lot of different options, I think, for after the course sort of exploring next steps. No matter what area you're interested in, whether that be the career element or continuing the research element or continuing the social element, they're all important. Okay, I think we are seeing questions slow down. Yeah, I don't see any new questions really popping up. There are a lot of the questions that you're asking in the questions and answers area are getting answered. So please take a look at those answers as they come in. And you can see answered questions by clicking on the answered section. Some people are asking for details on how projects work. These will probably be most easily explained the very first day of your course. So there is material on them you can read about. You can see the structure of projects if you look ahead into your course book. So it's one way to kind of like look at how a project is structured, what the different phases of a project are. But effectively, you're going to be inside of a breakout group or a subcomponent of your student classroom or pod. And you're going to be working on that smaller group of people on a project. So you'll be working as a group on a project data set in common. So in other words, you'll meet your project group within your pod on the first day of class. Okay. I think questions have slowed down, and so we can go ahead and I'll give 2 more minutes for people to get in their final questions, and then we'll end this broadcast soon. Thank you, Zana, Barak, and Avisha, and Alberto for joining me on screen.
Thank you too. Thanks everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.